Hey girl, it's Miss Kabibi. I just got back from brunch with my best friend. I love having brunch with my best friend. It's just so good for my soul to just get with my sister from another mister and mom and just talk things out, hash things out. So we talked about a lot of different things like we always do. It's always very cathartic when I meet with her. But there was something that we talked about that I wanted to share with you guys specifically. And this is something where it's like, okay, I don't know why some people think it's okay for them to judge other people or ask other people certain questions. Some things for me, it's just off limits. Like, that's just none of your effing business. But hey, so her and I are both kind of weird about this, where when people ask us certain things, we're always like, clutching our pearls, like, did you really just say that to me? Because I would never say that to you. But anyway, it happens. So a thing that I get quite often, and for me, I'm always just amazed that people come out their mouth and ask me this, is how do I afford to go to DC to get my hair done? First of all, what I do with my money, my hard-earned money, is my business. I don't ask anybody how they afford their car payments, their mortgage, how do they afford childcare, how do they afford getting their hair done every week, because I don't get my hair done every week. I go to the salon 3 times a year. If you do the math, the people who, and I'm not judging, because for me, I'm like, hey, it's your money. Do whatever the hell you want to do with your money. You work for it, you earned it. Do you, honey, do you. So if I go to the salon 3 times a year in DC, and I don't go to the salon once a week or once a month or bi-weekly, if you were to do the math, I probably spend the same amount that the average woman spends getting her hair done on a weekly basis. Like, that's just real. At the end of the day, do what you want to do. So I remember this happened with one of my colleagues. This was a while ago. And we were in the elevator. And for me especially, don't put me on blast in front of other people. If you have a question to ask me, that's, to me, asking someone about their money is a personal question. You ask them in private, especially if it's not coming from a place of, hey, so you seem to have this figured out. Can you teach me, talk me through, guide me as to how I can structure my situation to be able to get to do what you're doing? If someone comes to me for mentorship and they want advice, direction, information, I'm all for it. I am all for it. I love having mentees. I mean, mentors helped to get me where I am today. I am all about paying it forward. But when someone comes at me, and you can tell the difference, when someone comes and it's more of a thing of being just nosy and like you just want to be like in my business so you can judge or whatever, like, my life is not here for you to judge. Yes, I share things online, I share things on social media, but I don't share everything. Like, there's a lot that I keep private, that I keep personal. And so to have someone really think it's okay for them to ask me, how do you afford to do this, out of being nosy, it just baffles me. Like, we all, as human beings, as women, we choose what we want to spend on. Whether it is you love shoes, whether it is you love handbags, whatever the case may be. And it's funny because the same coworker, in that same conversation of her being like, oh, how can you afford that? Which I'm just like side-eyeing her like I work like you work. We work at the same place. So we kind of know how much money we're getting here. But okay, you want to be all, how could I possibly be doing this? Whatever. In that same conversation, she was actually telling me how she just bought some new shoes that were like $1,200. And so I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like, okay, so shoes are your thing. You're okay with spending $1,200 on shoes. I'm personally not. I don't judge you. Do you? At the end of the conversation, I invited her to, it was like, I don't know if it was like a happy hour or some function. And I was like, oh yeah, you should go. The tickets are like, it was like $75 for the tickets. She was like, oh God, no, I can't afford that. After I got these shoes, I'm gonna have to live off of ramen noodles. And I'm like, okay, then you can't afford those shoes though. Like, again, I'm not judging, but just being real. If you buy a pair of shoes and that means that you can't afford to eat real food, because ramen noodle is not real food, then that's saying something. If I choose to fly to DC to get my hair done, but I can still, pay my bills and eat food, then clearly I'm doing what works for me, and I'm doing it in a way that I can, quote, afford it. Like, how do you, am I being too sensitive? Is it just, am I being like old school? Because I personally think it's very inappropriate to talk about money with people, especially people that you don't know. Like, for me, if you know me and I trust you enough to tell you, my business and what's going on with me, you already know this. If you have to ask me the question about my personal life, we're not close enough for you to know this information anyway. And it's not a thing of me being bitchy or me trying to be like hard. It's just, that's just me. Like, I keep my circles small as hell. And I'm quick to cut people out once they show themselves to be toxic, which I don't have an issue with cutting people out. Like, you have to be, like I've told you guys in other videos, I'm very protective of my energy. I'm very protective of my space. I have my core group of friends, both male and female, who are like sisters, cousins, big brothers, you name it. And they know me, and I trust them enough to keep it real with me, keep me in check, tell me when I'm tripping, all that stuff. So they're the ones that I feel comfortable with telling that kind of personal information to. So when people who I don't know come at me sideways in a public elevator in front of other people about something so personal, and I'm just like scratching my head, like, did you really just ask me that? Like, I don't ask you about your business. Like, I don't judge people. Like, that's, I think, is the underlying thing. As much as it is that I get a lot of shit from people because I still relax my hair, get over it. It's just hair for me. I get it. For a lot of other people, it's more than hair. I didn't grow up with that type of negativity. I didn't grow up being told there was something wrong with my hair and my hair needed to be fixed. And I didn't grow up with any of that. When I was old enough to make a decision, I chose to relax my hair because for me, it's easier for me to manage it. My hair is super, super thick. I know, like, right now, it looks like a little bit straight and silky because it's freshly relaxed and freshly flat ironed. But if you guys take a look at any of my other videos, I got a lot of hair. It's really thick and it's really, really coarse. My hair is not silky by any means whatsoever. So for me, I don't judge you. I don't judge anyone for changing the natural hair color. I don't judge anybody for dyeing their hair, getting a relaxer, growing locks, whatever you want to do you. Life is short. Life is way too short to be hung up on what other people think of you. It really is. And that's what sort of sparked this video, because me and my best friend, we were talking about how do you separate like your feelings and what you want to do from other people and like what they're going to judge you for and all that stuff. And that type of being worried about how people are going to look at you and judge you, that's a mental prison in and of itself. And I have people that I absolutely love in my life who I recognize they're in their own mental prison that they've created for themselves. I've tried to talk them through it to be like, just, it's not worth it. Like, life is too short for you to be worried about what someone's going to say. Like, them saying something about you or having an opinion about you, who cares? It's not going to change who you are in your situation. Do what makes you happy. Like, give yourself permission to do what makes you happy. Because at the end of the day, like, life is short. If there's one thing that I can tell you I got reminded of in the past couple of weeks, and I know it's hard because our society has become like so put everything on blast with social media. Separate like online life, that's not real life. Like, real life is what happens when you close the computer. Real life is what happens when you put your phone down. That's real life. And just keep focused on what's important. Yeah, what do you guys think? I mean, this has totally been like a rant, but it kind of just like got sparked from people actually asking me like, how do I forward certain things? And I know they're not asking me from like, hey, how do you budget for this? Like, that's a different question. It's more a thing of like being judgmental and being nosy and trying to figure out my money, which is nobody's business but my own. Yeah, so I'm still enjoying my little prosecco that I had earlier today. So yeah. All right, so I will talk to you guys later. Comment below, let me know what you think. Am I tripping? Am I being too sensitive? What do you think about being worried about what other people think of you and judge you? Or like, is that something that you struggle with? Like, we all go through periods when we struggle with that. And if you were able to overcome it, then comment below and share what helped you to get over it. So, all right, I will talk to you guys next time. Kisses. You just have to be on camera, don't you?